We're going to learn how to write and graph linear equations, and we're going to start off by learning how to do it when we're given the slope and the y-intercept, and then we're going to gradually move on to getting less and less helpful information. So the reason why getting slope and y-intercept is the easiest way to graph something is because in order to graph a linear equation, we really just need 2 points. If we have 2 points, that's enough to graph an equation. All we do is we put the 2 points on our graph and we draw a line connecting the 2 points. When we have the y-intercept, in this case we're told the y-intercept is -2, that gives us one of the 2 points that we need. And then we can use the slope to find the second point. So this problem asks us first to write an equation. And so we're going to do that first. And since we have the slope and the y-intercept, we are going to write our equation in what is called slope-intercept form. Mathematicians, I'm sorry to say, are not very good at naming things. So whenever we have the slope and the y-intercept, the name of the form we write that in is called slope-intercept form. Not very creative, I'm sorry to say. Slope-intercept form you may already be familiar with. It looks like this. It's y equals mx plus b. And all we do is we replace the m and the b with the slope and the y-intercept. M you're already familiar with. We've talked about m before. M is the slope. And b you're probably familiar with as well. B is where we put the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. Remember, the x-coordinate is always 0, so we just put the y-coordinate of the y-intercept here. Okay, so then the problem tells us that the slope is 3/4, that's going to be our m, and it tells us that the y-intercept is -2, that's going to be our b. And so let's go ahead and rewrite slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, but we'll replace the m with 3/4, and we will replace the b with -2. So y equals 3/4 x plus -2. This is a great way to write the equation, but plus negative is the same thing as minus, so we could also just do 3/4 x minus 2, and that's an even better way to write it. Okay, so to graph it, as I said, we need 2 points, and we already know what one of the points is. We know one of the points is going to be the y-intercept of -2. So let's go ahead and put that point on there. We go to the y-axis, we find -2, and there's going to be our first point. We need a second point in order to graph our linear equation, and we can find this second point using the slope. Hopefully you recall that slope is rise over run. And so when our slope here is 3/4, that means the rise is 3 and the run is 4. So from this point at -2, we can just count up 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. There's my rise of 3. And then I'm going to count over 4. When we do our run, it's always to the right. So I'm going to count to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is my second point. I have a rise of 3 and a run of 4. Now that I have those 2 points, I can go ahead and connect them. And I'm going to go all the way across the graph. You can go all the way across the graph, or you can go part of the way across the graph and use arrows, or you could be a real go-getter and do both all the way across the graph and arrows. Doesn't matter. So our equation is y equals 3/4 x minus 2, and then there's what that graph looks like. It has a y-intercept of -2 and a positive slope of 3/4, meaning a rise of 3 and a run of 4.